Hi, it's Kieran here from Nursery Interactive. This is update 1 for Equilibrium's early access. So today's update, we have got a few fixes and features added to the game. And the first is that in the settings menu, that the master volume, music volume, and the sound effect volume will now default 1 on a startup without player prefs already enabled. So this is why it's set up without anything being unlocked here. We have now also set up support for 16 by 9, 16 by 10, and 4 by 3 aspect ratios. This will mostly affect the user interface positions. Animations have also been added to the sliders to consistency with the rest of the UI, which further means full screen UI images will now properly cover the screen when going between scenes as well due to these. So we're going to start off a little tutorial so we can see the other features that have been added to the settings. Okay, so we were asking the Steam discussion boards about being able to invert the camera because someone mentioned that it's as if it's inverted on startup. So this can now be changed. The camera horizontal sensitivity, the camera vertical sensitivity, and then you can also, as asked, invert X and the Y axis. Click showcase there. And with both inverted, perfect. Okay, so we're in puzzle level 5, and the first new feature we can see is the dead cacti, and cacti on fire. So, how do they happen? They can happen once the temperature reaches 45 degrees, or if a thunderstorm hits them. The reason there's one already in the level is because we've added it to showcase to make it easier to see it happening. Okay, so cacti and trees will be set on fire by thunderstorms, but thunderstorms already could on standard trees. Tornadoes will kill cacti as well, just like they will trees. So if there's a fire, it will put it out, or if it's just sitting there, it will kill said tree or cacti. Another thing we've done is updated these hover events. So once a fire has taken place, and the new object's there, so it's dead, it will actually update. This originally did not happen on some objects because of the way the code was called, but now it actually resets the tiles values. Another thing you can see here, puzzle level 5, there's a supply ship here. This is because we've actually now added the supply ships, which are in the transports UI. These can be planted for $10,000 and will increase happiness, but also increase pollution and the global temperature. They only cost 5,000 to remove, and they will actually reduce happiness, but they'll also reduce pollution because they are a major contaminant of pollution in the world. There was an original issue that these ships would actually move backwards. We introduced this bug to puzzle level 2, but managed to fix it in time as well before this update was released. So you won't be seeing ships moving backwards. Another issue we fixed is the material list for each level. So, for example, the tornado, there isn't one right now happening. I thought there was, but when a tornado happens, it will change the tile it's on to a damaged tile, and this cause it to be of a brown shade. Some levels had a broken link for the materials list, meaning this wouldn't happen, but now it will be able to happen. But the reason we implemented this is because we've actually implemented the ability for weather events and random forest fires and cacti fires to happen on any level with exception to tutorials level 1 and 3. They'll still happen on tutorial 2, of course, via the event that happens in that. So obviously now that there's dead cacti, we need a way to remove them, and that is by clicking in the bin, and we can remove them from there. But as a team, we agreed we want the world to be more in control of the player, so we have implemented the ability to remove both trees and the cacti. This is so that, again, the player has much more control. There's just, it brings us to the future things we plan, which will indeed make it so that we'll want to be able to remove things like that. And that is, we're going to be adding a transport system. So like there'll be roads that can come out from towns, connecting them to other towns, or towns to cities, and it will make the world more lively. We'll also be incorporating idle animations for these objects as the development goes on, and this will also bring further life. Another feature being worked on is that oil will spread from oil rigs, such as like if there is a leakage of oil, it'll spread in the water, and the player will then need to contain the leak. This will also happen with radiation, as you've partly seen from one of the puzzle levels where you have to remove radiation from the world. So, yeah, the future development sandbox mode has started, as we've said. We look forward to showcasing features from it as we develop it further. So some of the things you expect to see is that the player will be notified when an event happens. They'll also be notified if, for example, the populations start dying, rather than just telling them at the top of the screen that the numbers start going down. So events will be like forest fires happening, spread of radiation, spread of oil, tornadoes, thunderstorms. Pretty much anything that will have a negative effect in the game will be addressed to the player. What's something that has been also worked on is the random objectives will be given to the player during sandbox. These will be like plant trees, plant specific objects that will help the environment or remove specific ones. Also stuff like make sure the temperature does not fall below a certain amount within a time limit, or stop like a forest fire from happening if the world's close to having a forest fire. Another thing is that in sandbox will be that world can die due to temperature becoming too high or too low, as we've seen in one of the puzzle levels where you've to make the world a snow world. The world will eventually just die and become an ice planet, and that's something we plan, but obviously it'll be a very gradual thing in sandbox. So sandbox will also incorporate a different, like the ability to save and load progress, because it'll be a big thing. It's not going to be like just a small puzzle level. This is going to be like the meat of the game, and we really look forward to showcasing how that's going to work as time goes on. So thank you for watching the first update devlog for Equilibrium, and hope you have a good day.